couple of things I learned when in interviewing a lot of people is the people that I hired are the ones that fully understand the role that they're going for, not the company and everything that comes with it.
Hmm.
And I always say, this guy just wants to have this company's name on his business card so he can feel important. So he
Hmm.
can show his parents, so he can show the girls at the bar, he can whatever. But in reality is show me that you've done the homework to fully understand what you're going to be doing day in and day out and you're still okay with it. One of the difficult things when interviewing, especially intelligent kids out of colleges and universities and maybe have some experience,
Hmm.
is like reading past the prepared responses that they have and getting through to the authenticity of that person and
Hmm.
figuring out questions to figure out who is this person really. I like context, figuring out about their past, but there's questions that can only be answered by someone expressing how they truly handle things
Hmm.
is one. And two is, are they fully prepared to take on this role? One of the best things someone can do is tell me that they're interviewing for the same role somewhere else. Okay. So you really do want this role. You're just interviewing companies to see which one's going to hire you. And then on top of that is if that person presents himself to me or herself to me saying, I'm going to be good in this role. I know what it takes and I have a passion for it. As crazy as it sounds, I know it's a tough role. I have a passion for it for whatever reason. I'm actually interviewing, that person's interviewing me to see if I'm going to be a good manager, if this organization is going to give them what they need to be successful. I'm on the hot seat to sell them on the fact that they're going to get the training, the guidance, the support that they need to be successful and find their success.
Absolutely.
That's who I want on my team. You present yourself in that way, and that's what I'm trying to show people. It's like the authenticity piece is in a lot of things right there, and then it's also a passion for the specific thing that you're sitting down for. That's why your resume needs to be drafted in a specific way for that specific role, for that specific company, for that specific manager, and the way you handle your approach to the meeting and in those meetings or interviews is a passion for that specific thing that you're going for. If you do that, how can they not hire you? You know what I mean?
Yes. Valid.
Good answer.
Caveat, a layer to that
Yeah.
is not just what you're saying, as equally important as it is to have thoughtful answers and authentically articulate who you are, why you want the role, your understanding of the challenges, right, based on your limited, exposure through an internship or just research, right?
All right.
Is how do you translate whatever other experiences you've had up until that point in a way that resonates and connects with them? Because the big idea specifically in a sales interview. And I've been on both sides of this now, having been a mentor and a part of early talent interviewing committees, is they want to see the greatest show of what we're talking about, the understanding of this is treating the interview like a sales call. Even though you haven't, if we're talking about entry level, even though you haven't run a sales campaign, you've never effectively done the job.
Yeah.
Do you understand it well enough that you're going to treat the interview as best as you possibly can, like a sales process?
Yes.
Are you going to drive the conversation, answer the questions, know when to listen to understand, not to respond, and give a manufactured response that
Yes.
sounds canned or is pre-scripted, right? And then ultimately have thoughtful questions prepared, right? And this is bar none the most important. Are you going to close them? Are you going to ask the uncomfortable questions, i.e., based on the other candidates?
Right.
And I remember doing this, and it's fun to think about now. But like based on the other candidates, like how do I stack rank? Right?
Mhm.
Shows coachability, shows willingness to receive constructive criticism or feedback. Like
Yeah.
it's less about what you're saying and more about you're saying it and the motive or the intent behind it that speaks volumes.
The intent behind what you're saying.
Right. It shows that you're thinking the way they want you to.
You can say an infinite number of things. You can ask an infinite number of questions. What you're saying and asking is showing where your head's at, is showing where your mind's at, right? So if you're asking a financial question, you're financially driven. If you're stating something that is generic, then you're presenting yourself in a certain way. If I'm asking a question that is based around what are the best reps in your organization doing, that makes them great, right? That can be a manufactured question. But if your other questions, the other things that you say and the way that you're asking that or saying it presents itself in the way that is genuine in the fact that I want to be great. What is your 1, 2, and 3 rep doing? What are your worst, like the last guy that you let go of, like why? And so that I can figure that out, right? Like, whether I've been in sales for 10 years or whether I've never been in sales, I still want to understand what, if I'm going to join this organization, how do I be great? How am I going to be great at it?
Yeah.
So that closing statement's phenomenal. And then the overall demeanor of how you present yourself is pivotal to everything. Now, how do you do that? How do you ask these questions? How do you figure out what to ask? How do you figure out what to say takes to be great in the role? How do you know whether or not, excuse me, how do you know what you're going to be doing in that role? Like day in and day out. How do you find that out?
We're giving away all the answers on this
What
podcast.
kind of work? And that's the goal, because there's so many different aspects to it. I didn't realize how many videos I'd be making to just how do you get into medical sales. And I swear I'm not trying to just fill up the thing
Sure.
with a whole bunch of videos, because that's actually a negative. Like if I'm giving too many videos, then they're like, I'm just trying to get a job here.
Yeah.
But it's like there are so many things here that